Hey, welcome to Tactical Tuesday. This is the starter kit forum or essential group of guys that gets together, analyzes game plans, analyzes players' plans, analyzes the rules on how they apply to the game plans, and then we also field questions, and then we also look at game of the months. Everyone plays game of the month. We go over all the games and we learn from each other. That's what Tactical Tuesday is all about. Learning from each other, learning from the games, and applying what rules we know. It's application of the rules. None of this is going to be in the rule book. All the rules are simply in your rule book. Highlight them and go on with this. What we're not about is teaching the basics of starter kit. We're not going to teach you what range is. We're not going to teach you what your morale level number might be. We're not going to teach you how to use Vassal. None of that is the realm of Tactical Tuesday. That's what you should know already as a player. If you don't know any of that stuff, please read the rulebook. It's quite explanatory. Tactical Tuesday is for even beginner players that may or may not have played other people, but here to decipher and answer questions they might have about the rulebook, about what they've read. So that's what we're all about, taking your game to the next level after you've done your homework, and then hopefully you'll enjoy your SK games much more. Thanks, and let's get on with Tactical Tuesday. All right, so this episode jumps right into the action because after we discuss the concealment, we get back on track about how to attack using combined arms in the village. But again, that just goes to show you from the other episode 2, where we take any and all questions and we try to answer them as best as we can. Hopefully we get it right, but we have a lot of guys discussing it and bouncing their ideas off of us, and it's a free forum. And, if you come with an idea that's different from everybody else's, it could be right. And so, therefore, we all can learn from that. But we jump right in on this one, and it goes into talking about what you could do, particularly with your AFVs, your fire groups, your smoke, what to do if you lose your AFVs, where to lose your AFVs, and things like that. A whole bunch of stuff is wrapped up in this last hour. So hopefully you enjoy it. Double speed. If you get bored, or turn it off and go, watch crafts or something like that. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the end. We'll follow up with some smoke and how to, we're going to have some guys in place in moving up, and then while they're in the town, about how to get the guys across. Essentially, it's very similar because our tanks can't survive against the tiger, right? We could avoid this guy. He's got a 12 movement factor, 12 movement points, so we could try to avoid him somewhat. And we can still get into positions. Remember, you could be at distance. I mean, you could have a tank way over here, up on this hill. On AA5, you could have a tank way over there, and he could still have a huge, as long as you don't hit this orchard, right? He could still have a huge impact on dropping smoke in these locations, Even up on the hill. Let's say that the tiger's over here trying to threaten us or whatever like that. Does he want to fire at us? I don't know, maybe. Maybe he'll kill us later. But if we're smoking the shit out of him and he's got to keep moving to get out of the smoke, and then we smoke him again and he keeps moving, he's not going to hit us when he's moving, most likely. So we can harass the tiger. We can pull the tiger's tail all game long, right? We can pull the tiger's tail all game long while we're smoking objectives, while we're smoking either enemy units or positions of strategic value, like smoking this guy here or smoking the hex in front of him. If we're attempting to jump into close combat, and let's say our LOS is only to like that hex, right? We could still just assault move a guy in there, and then just the +4, +2. Nothing's gonna happen when we advance fire. But if the intent is to engage him in close combat, especially if he's a 447, we have the advantage there. So smoke here, knowing that you're not going to do shit on the attack, jump into close combat, and you have the advantage. That's all we want. We just want the advantage. Do you want to send 2 guys in there? I probably wouldn't want to send 2 628s. I probably want to send 1 guy and then some other guys either surrounding him, and then hell, for me, I'd blast those guys in close combat to break them. The 447 is going to break more often. Would you use a high firepower chart? I would definitely not use a high firepower chart. I want something just to generate like a 1 or normal morale check. I don't want any 2 morale checks. I don't want any 2 morale checks on this hex because he can get lucky and I can get screwed. A no morale check, you have a giant advantage over him. And then while you're doing that, again, hopefully you'll have some smoke rounds. And if you don't have any smoke rounds, you know, guess what you could do with your tank? You can move your tank into a position. Let's say remember the last Clash of Borisovka will tell you guys this. Your to hit modifiers are based upon movement points in LOS. Say our tank is this direction here. Let's say we need to cross this road. We need to cross this road. We move our tank here. That modifier is going to be what? For moving is +2. +1 for size. So, but moving and then less than or equal to 1 MP in LOS. So it's another +2. So it's +4 to hit right here. Right here is probably going to be a +3 to hit while he's moving. So if he misses the first shot here, he may have to wait for this shot. And at this point, let's say he misses there, that's where you'd want to drop your, if you have it, or if you're desperate, you drop your smoke discharger. You stop and you drop your smoke discharger. And we're going to use MarkBot 3.1. Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't update. Damn it. That must have been 3.01. So, Jesus. So, yeah, you might want to, and guess what? Let's say the tank explodes. Is that a problem?
Hey, it'll be covered next turn.
It's +1. You just turn this location to +1 cover for these guys to assault move, not in the open, and then whatever. And it's a hindrance. So now you're +3 cover. So even a blown up tank serves value. And then you could probably do the same damn thing with another tank, you know, well, if need be. Like even on this side, blow him up there, or you don't want 2 tanks. You don't want to have to use 2 tanks to stepstone around there. This building is much more easier to get from the woods. But again,
I'm laughing that you find the positive to a wreck. You know, always got to look at the bright side of life. Right?
Oh yeah,
it's like when my CX squad is broken. At least it's not CX anymore.
It's not CX. The next turn, you self rally. He's running again. It's a way to cheat the system. You just CX 2 turns in a row. Guess what? You CX to your location, so you move 6 movement factors. You break. You route forward 6 movement factors. Self rally next turn, and you get to CX for another 6 movement factors. You just moved 18 movement factors in 2 turns.
There you go.
But you just can't be a conscript because you're never gonna rally. You need to be 8-3. You gotta have 8 morale to do that. But yeah, it's there. I mean, it's there. So
or take your commissar with you.
Yeah, definitely take your commissar with you. But yeah, even because you have 6 tanks here. If you want to litter the battlefield with cover, you could do that. He's got a lot of firepower. I mean, 88's got a lot of firepower, so smoking him's the best thing you can do. If you can destroy the other tank, that's a good positive. But if you can't, smoke it, you know, whatever. Again, if you smoke him, it's going to be +4 to hit. And if he's buttoned up, it's +5. Even if you're stationary as a tank, he needs a 5 to hit you at a range of 1 to 6. You know, well, it's got a 6 because you're a big fat Sherman. So, but if you're moving, he needs like a 4 to hit you when you're moving and he's smoked. He's never going to hit you. Well, hopefully. So you're pretty much free to move when these guys are smoked. When they're not smoked, you're going to get smoked. So you smoke these guys, and you got enough vehicles that you know. Hopefully these guys won't run out of smoke early. But if you smoke them hard and fast early, again, and when you smoke his tanks, he gets a little nervous because he knows he can't do shit. And then you have infantry strength on this guy, especially before the 838s come on and start flaming everything. So if you can get a decent position where remember, the smoke will last essentially like a turn and a half. You know, when it comes your next prep fire phase, this thing comes down to a +2. Actually, it'll be I don't think it'll be gray. Technically, it'll be just a strength +2, right? And so it's still effective. Essentially, every infantry unit running in front of this tank is going to be in a stone building because of the +3 from the smoke. So the advantages of smoking your enemy is tremendous. You essentially neutralize him for all intents and purposes, especially if you're in wooden building. You know, that's a +5. Come on, guys. That's crazy. It's better to fortified location. You know, and you've got 6 vehicles. Smoke, and then guess what? You drive the vehicles up, and what do you do when you drive the vehicles around in your Shermans in this scenario?
Besides blowing up?
No, other than blowing up, what else do you do when you're driving your Shermans around this scenario?
smoke dischargers. Yeah,
He's throwing smoke dischargers. So then this little shit shows up everywhere, right? And at that point, he can't even see you to fire on you. Because what happens when you hit +6 on your hindrances?
You're out of line of sight.
You're out of line of sight. And guess what? If he's at lower level, and you've got our nice little Sherman tank right here, and you've got another blown up one over here, another wreck over here, and he fires on this Sherman tank over here, can he see him?
No.
Can't even see him. +1, 3, 5, 6. Can't even see him. With 2 wrecks and 2 smoke dispensers that these guys dropped right before they became wrecks. This is tremendous. If you got sort of this sort of shit going on, or let's say this guy's over here and he fires that smoke round, increase that size there. This is an easy win for the Russians. If your game looks like this is an easy win. Why? Because the Russians can advance, jump your ass in close combat. They could take all this shit, hopefully before, or even if the 838s come on. Do we care about the 838s if there's a bunch of smoke around? Nah. If he's right here, he fires over here, it's +4. That's a 16. It's 16 +3. That's not a terrible chart. It's going to give us a 1 morale check. We got 8 morale. We can pass that shit. And then if we don't pass it, let's say we break up, guess what happens next turn?
Well, it's still +2, yeah.
We fire that sumbitch.
Yeah.
And now, when you move in that hex, can he fire on you?
No, he can't see you. Yeah.
He can't even see you. Can you fire on him?
Nope.
He's +7. He's +6. You're +6.
Yep.
Can't even fire on each other, gentlemen. And guess what?
You actually +7 because it's +4 in his hex and then +3 in yours. So
it's dispersed. Yeah. It's dispersed. I dispersed it. Sorry.
All right,
Okay. Yeah.
That was the same tank firing here, and then by the time he prepped fired again, he fires over here. But yeah. Can't even see you. 2 smoke rounds. So if we had 2 tanks lined up, we smoked and smoked, right? In the same turn. This is prep fire phase. Let's say prep fire phase turn 4, right?
Yeah.
And we fire 1 smoke round here because we want to fire on him first. More than likely, when we fire on him, and then the next one we fire right in front of him. Guess what? We just stack all these sons of bitches there. He can't do a damn thing about it. And he can't do a damn thing about that. Nothing he can do. And then you go zip, and that's just a dice fest. That's 12 to 14. You got a 2 to 1, 1 to 2, however you want to do that. You got a 1 to 1 and a 3 to 2. You're winning that as the Russians. So if you smoke him, he's up shit creek because that stuff's going to be around for a long time. A long time. So if you don't smoke, you will lose this almost all the time as the Russians. If you don't have any smoke, like we saw in the one replay, I think Jason and another guy, the one replay for Sherman Marches West in terms of combined arms that we did before a couple months ago, he was just out of smoke early. And so at that point, the only thing you can do is blow up your tanks and use them as hindrances to try and get across the road. Is it necessary to blow them up? No. I mean, but if you park it here and you just stop him, it's the same thing. At least you have some fire. But if they blow it up, it's +1. It'd be 1 hex closer. You don't care. Your victory conditions do not require your AFVs to be alive in this scenario. They do not require your AFVs to be functional, alive, whatever. But if they're blown up wrecks in key positions, then you just turn them into terrain features, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. And he doesn't need his tanks either. He needs his tanks to blow your tanks up so you don't drop smoke on him. That's what the German needs to do. He needs to get these other reinforcements in the town before you could smoke that town and take everything. Because once you're in those buildings as the Russians, then you have 6 tanks. Then you just run behind his lines and hunt down his infantry. Because his tanks aren't going to be doing much about building control or hex control. I mean, he can control the hex, but it's not going to be much. He has to stay in the hex. Once he leaves, he's done. So your job is not necessarily to kill the tiger, is to neutralize it. The easiest way to do it is to roll your 8 every single time God damn, it's Mark. Jesus Christ. So that's essentially the core concept of this particular scenario, and pretty much the core concept of any scenario that has armor in it. Now, if these are T-34s, the situation changes drastically. So the T-34s, I mean, at that point, they don't have smoke, right? They don't even have smoke dischargers. So
Sure don't.
at that point, they just become fire bases. So you need to get them up and close. Unfortunately, I think the Germans have Panzerfausts. Again, you could take some shots at distance, but hitting infantry because you're buttoned up, hitting infantry in buildings is very difficult. You're +3. You need a 5 to hit. That's if you're not moving and they're not there. You don't have acquisition. You need a 5 to hit for your big gun, and then they have 8 morale for most of them. It's. I mean, you'll see more effects coming out of your infantry units. So try to get them close, maybe even 2x range. I mean, they don't have the size modifier. You're vulnerable to Panzerfausts, but if he's in a building, he can't really fire them freely. So that's one thing about that. Even the Panzerschreck. But again, if he's right here and he blows them up as a T-34, now we just created a bridge to get across. Now we have cover. Now we can assault move there. Because he's probably going to point blank, right? We could assault move one guy there and have his supporting staff behind him. A shitload of firepower behind him. Is he going to fire point blank at him or fire at these guys? Well, we're pretty much moving this guy here so he does fire at him and he'll break. The worst thing that's going to happen to him, more than likely, on average, he'll break. Well, then now we have our 16 firepower. We'll have to fire through the tank, but 16 plus, well, assuming the smoke's not there, 16 plus 3, he's going to break. The 447 is going to be gone. The 838 is going to be gone the turn after. That's all. So every once in a while, when he breaks, he rots back. Guess what? The next 628, he drops his LMG, and somebody else picks it up. And you just continue getting up in his face. You don't care if this guy breaks, because you got your leader behind him. You better have your leader in this woods. And you better have a good leader in that woods. That way he'll rally these guys, because again, this woods on the side over here, let's get rid of some of this shit. This woods on the side over here is a good rally point. These are pretty much, both of these locations here are fairly safe. The Germans have to commit a lot of forces to try and stop you from rallying freely in those locations. And you just keep throwing units in there until these guys, once these break, and if we're coming from both sides, so we got a tank over here, for whatever reason, way back over here, even out of the line, let's say the Tiger's down here, he's out of the line, let's say we're behind the hill, out of the line of sight of the Tiger over here. Right? This guy here, these guys break, they don't route backwards, they stay there, and then we just advance and kill him. He just dies. Use your mobility, use your numbers, and if you get behind him, again, easier said than done, and the reinforcements are coming on that side, but late game, when you're making a push, I don't even know how many turns in this game. 6 turns? 5 turns? 7 turns, long game. So turn 5 or 6, try to get a tank behind him. Don't fire. Don't sit here and fire your 6+2. That's crap. Your infantry can fire 6+2. Your infantry can't drive by these guys into the forest with full armor and get behind all the German units. Once the German units break, you can move guys next to them, and all the German units disappear. Because you're not killing the Tiger from the front. If you're going after the Tiger, you gotta go around him anyway, and you'll be in this sort of position. You might be up on the hill, you might be behind him, but again, infantry is how you're going to win this scenario. Consider your tanks as support weapons. I consider my tanks as support weapons. When they get blown up and destroyed, I'm a happy camper, because now you fired on my tank instead of my infantry, which is going to carry the game for me. What do I need to destroy this tank with a Sherman? I'm firing at him. Can I destroy him?
Critical hit.
Critical hit. I need a snake eyes.
Probably a critical hit. Yeah, it's probably about the only thing you can do. Yeah.
Okay, let's this conscript advances, passes his 1 PATC, jumps in there. What does he need to destroy that tank in close combat?
5.
Yeah.
5 immobilizes, right? 4 eliminates.
Oh yeah, 5 immobilizes, 4 destroys. Yeah.
4 destroys. So, and you add a leader to him. Hopefully not well, you probably won't have. 7-0. The leader goes with him. What do we need to kill it?
Now you need a
Now 5.
6 to mobilize, 5 to destroy. Yeah.
Sherman can't do shit. 426 70. 426 6+1 leader. Even better.
Pass that Patsy.
Good lord. You can you even ELR? Why can't I ELR this guy?
Conscripts don't ELR.
No, the leader should be able to ELR.
I think that's a bug. For
right.
when somebody, you cannot seem to ELR leaders right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Anyway,
Yeah,
6+1 leader jumps him in close combat, adds 1 firepower. You know, boom. 2 shit units. He's gonna care about these guys running behind him? Probably not. He's certainly not gonna pivot his covered arc. That's not gonna happen any day of the week when this tank's sitting right here. That's not happening. Okay? Yeah. So you could walk anything you want up to this guy. Hopefully, if he's CE, guess what? 6+2. Our infantry can now fire on him. 6+2. He's not going to be CE any day of the week. Because if he is, this guy fires HE on that tank. Why do we fire HE on that tank when he's CE?
To get morale checks against the exposed crew. And
to get morale checks against the exposed. We hit the tank. It's actually easier to hit the tank than if there were an infantry unit in that location. Oops.
Yeah.
And because we hit the tank, we can't affect the tank, but the crew gets attacked by the HE equivalent. So the HE equivalent of 12 is of 70 is 12 firepower factors.
Yeah, 12 plus
and
2.
then he adds 2 for being a crew. You need a 7 for a morale check. And unfortunately, this guy's got a morale level of 9, but that's just that particular tank. They usually have a morale level 8. Still, a morale check on a 9, he could fail it. It's still better than you destroying it straight away. So, again, he's not going to swivel anything around. If he moves his turret, let's say he just moves his turret like this. Fires the machine gun. What's that modifier?
+3.
You're in a stone building. This guy's in a stone building when he moves like that. And then you go, and you pass you roll your 7, and I think the leader can exempt this guy once he does a PAT, I don't know, something like that. Berserk units, it's berserk units. But anyway, you pass your PATCs to go in there, whether it's 8 morale for 6 to 8, 7, or 5. Oh God, 5. But still, once you're on him, like remember that example we had last time, gentlemen, where the Tiger was over here, and we did order of movement to get strong units on that Tiger to jump into close combat. He's going to ignore the 426 most of the time because he's the weakest unit. He's the unit that's going to be the hardest to attack him, and we move our 6 to 8 last to jump on him because he has the easiest chance to jump on him. So the 6 to 8 does not attack the Tiger first because the Tiger will shoot at the 6 to 8. He won't shoot at the 426, which opens the door for the 426 to get up on him. And that it's still, even if he needs a 5 for PAV task check and the leader's not there, a 5 and another 5, I'll take that any day of the week when you're taking the thing that we can't even kill out of the game. I'm throwing 3 squads to destroy this. If he's such a bad, I'm throwing 3 squads against that unit. If I have them available, they're coming in different directions, and they're all going to jump this son of a bitch in close combat. Oh, okay, close combat. So since it's vehicles, we jump all 3 of those guys in close combat. Who attacks first?
Well, the 1 infantry unit attacks first.
Okay. And then?
Then the tank can respond.
And then?
And then then another infantry unit, if it's still there,
right,
can attack. And then the final one, if it's still there, can attack.
Right. So in this instance, we can attack the tank 3 times, but it has to be us, then him, because vehicles are always second in close combat, and then it's us, and then him if he has like some sort of like in this case, he's got the coaxial, right? Coaxial machine gun. He can fire in close combat. He has the Nahverteidigungswaffe, the SN7, which can attack in close combat.
Right.
And that will affect everybody there, which is probably what he's going to start with, or what he's going to lead with. But he'll have 2 separate attacks against you. You can have up to 3 attacks against him.
Yep.
or 4 if you have a leader. The 4 probably you don't want to attack him by himself because it's so low, but you never know. So 3 attacks to get a 5 for the immobilizer, or 4 for kill, or let's say he's stunned or immobilized or whatever, then it's worth it. Plus, if you lose a guy or 2 guys or whatever like that, then they're guess what? If they blow up, he's in a wreck. Guess what? You +1 terrain. So, but that's the close combat versus that's a short, quick, and dirty thing about the close combat versus vehicle. Definitely read up on close combat versus vehicles, because again, all these vehicles have to change covered arcs. And is the Panzer? This one's got a +1. This one here is a better, it's only +1 to change. So plus his firepower is he's a very strong support unit. It's a very, very, very good tank. I love that tank. Lots of smoke, lots of HE, lots of machine gun firepower. Very strong tank. Very strong tank. Good support tank. So again, if you as the Russians can effectively smoke key areas, whether it be key enemies or key areas, or if it's getting rough, move your tank into a position where if it's destroyed, use that destruction as an advantage. We got a jumping off point here. We got a jumping off point here. That's pretty much it. Those pretty key hexes there. We don't want 2 destroyed tanks here to jump off there. We don't need that. We don't want that. We definitely don't want that. So, that's the key point. We'll cover some more. Read up on your close combat versus tanks and things like that, and we'll cover some more things about this next week, unless another topic comes up, and then we can go from there. And so again, I apologize for the concealment taking most of the time, but it was kind of one of those quirky things that just kind of jumps out at you. It's like, holy shit, what's going on here? How do we resolve this? I don't even know how to resolve that. So it's like, let's think about it, and let's kind of work our ways through it. And I think we came to a decent resolution where it doesn't really say in SK3, but it resolves it in SK4. And unfortunately, that's the case. But I'll throw a question, or you guys could throw a question up there, the same sort of thing, and see what some of the SK guys in the starter kit forum might think about it, or the schmucks might have some answers on that. So I think we pretty much ironed out. When you have like 8 or 9, 10 guys thinking about the same concept, digging through the rules at the same time. Again, I don't know all the answers, and I'm probably wrong half the time. But if you guys say, hey, that's wrong, Stu, it says right here, I'm good with that. That's why we're here. That's why we're here to iron this shit out, not to build egos. So, but I think we covered some decent ground. Again, I think that's an important concept on that. And again, just looking at your OB, seeing what you got. It's sort of like an simple equation. Every single. I watched another game of simple equation the other day, and I think I'm going to make a Vassal. I think I'm going to take that board in Vassal, and I'm going to white out that effing building on the right-hand side that people always put their German units in, and they always break and they always die. I just want to make that an open ground hex so they can't set up there. I just see people set up there all the time.
You mean that single standalone stone building?
Yeah, I saw 2 squads in there last time I saw somebody play us there. It's like, dude, you just threw away 2 units. You just threw them away. I know it looks pretty. I know it's a nice little bungalow. You got cheap rent on a weekend rates, but man, you don't want to be in that building. It's just not the last place on that whole map you want to be. And at least the guys, the couple I've seen a couple of them. At least the flamethrower goes in the center, which needs to go. But when I first started watching, when we first started doing this stuff, I saw the flamethrower on the left-hand woods, crossing that giant open vacuous ground, right. the Russian steps to get across the building. you're just asking to get killed. It's got a -3 on that unit in the open ground. Even a conscript's going to rip you apart. So, simple things like that. Looking at your OB, again, when you see a strange unit in your OB, American tank with Russians, a flag should fly up. 3 red flags should pop right up. Why do we have an American tank versus T-34? Well, read. Oops. After you unconceal it, look at the unit, see what it gives you. What does it give you better than a T-34? Smoke up the ass.
Yeah.
3 smoke sources from each one of those tanks. If you're not placing smoke in this scenario, you need to play a different game, because you have to use. It's just like your 6.28s. If you're using your 6.28s in long range fire, or going across wide open grounds where you can't shoot at your enemy, you're doing it wrong. Just like you guys said, go through the wheat field, get close. You got cover from the wheat field, get to the woods. You know, I wouldn't even take them in the middle per se. I would only take them in the middle to use them as assault troops to assault move over like an L8 for the 8 morale. That's the only reason why I would pick those guys over there, because everything's long range for them. It's just here. You can nail them here, and this is a tough building to take. This is very tough. These are free. These models will just start rushing. Doesn't matter. They're going to be free. This one's a tough one. This one's a tough one. But those 6.28s can vanquish any opponents in that location. Any of them. LMGs, you got a shitload of LMGs. They're just gone. I mean, that's all there's to it. And with 6-8 morale, you can just set a guy in the open. What's he going to fire at? He's going to fire at the guys in the woods, the guy in the open. He's going to fire the guy in the open. 99% of the time. 8 morale? You can take a 2 morale check. Not bad. Is the best place you want to be? No. Not at all. But it spreads your guys out. You kind of don't want to stack them. Because if he gets a lucky roll and gets a stack, you're losing multiple units. You don't want that to happen. Because you need guys to be alive to be able to cover for the guys that are broken. Spread them out. Even if he's half firepower over here, and you got a 6.28 here. Where's my 6.28? Here, I'll just put him here. Put that guy there. Put the LMG up here. You know, assume the other guys are 6.28s. You know, put him here. Or if you want him to fire on him, give him the LMG. You know, that's 8, 16, plus that's 24. And this guy appears nothing, because the 3 hexes of LMG 6.28s is 24. This guy's gone. Gone. That's going to be a 2 morale check on average. I don't care what your morale is, you're going down. So, and then, again, if you've got your 6+1 stew down here, they're really gone. Because then you cut his route back. But, you know, that's going to be late game. It's going to be problematic. It's something to look for. Because you have more tanks. He has 2 tanks and a 50 mil. Oops, zoomed in too far. Well, you have to find out where they are, and once you can take those things out or neutralize them, you can get behind them. And let's say, Stu, it's going to take too much time, right? Let's say we have our Tiger over here, right? We're fighting, and our Germans are, you know, coming up the wazoo. Kind of guys are salt moving, doing that bullshit like that. Let's move some of these DMs out of the way and clean this up a little bit. Let's say we got a tank over here, and where's that Panzer IV? Yeah, here we got a Panzer IV, like sitting right here. You know, looking at our units, right? Let's get rid of this crap over here. Right, but we have a tank. We got a tank right here, right? Spin him around. What can we do with this tank? We got this situation here. We're gonna assault this guy here. We want them to die. We want them to break and die and try to screw the route paths over. We're gonna move this stuff over. Let's say our Russians are over here in this building. We got a tank. And matter of fact, you can just drive your tank in that building. Remember, +2 TEM, because that makes it harder for you to hit. So you have an advantage at that point. What can we do? What can we do in this sort of situation between these 3 units? This guy can't even see him, right? Can't even see him. This guy can see him. Does he want to try and kill him? We want to get behind these units this turn with something, with a tank, with an infantry unit, with something. What's your first thought? Oh, these things are annoying. What's your first thought of trying to get around there? Let's say this guy's good order. And he's up in that. That's one of the 628. Get rid of the DMs. Okay. What can we do to get units behind this? Because we've got our massive fire chart, right? We got our 24+3. He's gonna break. He's broken this turn. He's broken this 24+3. You roll 7. That's gonna be a 1 morale check. Hopefully you roll a 6. Be a 2 morale check. 1 or 2 morale check. At least one of those guys is broken. The 838's probably gonna be pinned. On average. On average. Pinned and broken. We fire that because these guys fire. Prep. What are we gonna do with this guy in the back? Where's he going?
He's your shock troop.
Yeah, what does he want? He wants to go here.
Yeah.
He wants to go there. So he can go there directly. If one of these guys, if he's broken and see the 447 breaks, and this guy pins, right? That's a good turnout. That's not unusual to see from a 24 chart. And even this 548's there, I don't give a shit about this guy. You know, we got 838. That's going to be a 12 even chart on this guy. Does he care about a 12 even chart when you roll a 7 on him? It's a 1 morale check. You got 8 morale. 7 pins, not bad. He's point blank. But this guy's broken. This guy's got a route. He's got to go somewhere. He's gone. He can't stay there. He's got to leave. With his Panzerschreck, mind you, because he's holding the Panzerschreck. Do we care about that shot? No, we can make that. If we pin, even if we break, who cares? But this guy's a pain in the ass. And since we can't get around him, again, look at the back of the counter. Have some smoke. What about prep firing over here first? You know? Smoke this guy. You know, if this is your plan, smoke this son of a bitch. Now what can this guy do?
Now he's got a fairly good chance of swinging around into...
1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Stop here. 11, 13, 14. Stop. Is this unit going to hit this unit? Either through here while he's moving, or when he's stopped over here when it becomes his turn next turn.
Pretty unlikely.
Not going to do it.
Yeah.
Not going to do it. That's a +6, +5 to hit right there. +5. He needs a 5. Well, 6 or 4 if he's buttoned up. If you're driving right in front of him with that smoke on him and he's buttoned up, he needs a 4 to hit you, even with the -1 to hit.
Or +4, +6, +7. So actually, he needs like a 3.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, he's not going to hit you.
Yeah.
So you just drive right in front of him. Say hello. You wave by. You know, whatever. You sit over here. Stop here. Can the tiger see you? Tiger, they can't see you. He's up on the hill. This is where we want to be. Now he can't rally back to either one of these locations. And if we're pinned here and he breaks, he's gone. Just gone from breaking. We don't kill anybody here. We break them. We cause them to failure route. He's gone. If he pins, that's a success because he's smoked and we know we can get the tank here. Is this flamethrower coming back over here? Maybe. Maybe.
Oh, eventually, yeah.
Is that a problem? Yeah, kind of a problem. We could do 2 things. We could smoke discharger, right? Drop a smoke discharger, roll our 6. Come on. There it is.
There you go.
Smoke +2, yeah. Better than nothing. You know, or go in motion. We could attempt to go in motion, same sort of thing.
And you do both.
But the flamethrower still has, 2 range. It's still going to torch the shit out of you. But we're still there. We're still there. And so he moves. We defense fire on this guy. Same fire attack. Another 24 coming at you. When he breaks, route phase. This tank hopefully will still be alive by that time. But that's how you start cracking shit open like that. And when he moves back, guess what? How long does it take me to get back in the front? Another movement phase. 1 turn to go here, another turn to go back. If this is turn 5, that's the end of turn 5. German turn 6, he goes back here, he has 1 turn. He's not taking anything over here with this flamethrower. You're pulling the flamethrower off of the front because the flamethrower will vaporize all your infantry units over here. You have a chance to survive over here. Not a great chance because it's the flamethrower, mind you. But you're pulling that guy off the front, especially if you move. Maybe if you can move a little bit further back here, he has to go another hex. So, cause him to move where he doesn't want to move. Maybe he moves the Panzerschreck that way. Maybe there's a guy with a Panzerschreck that he wants to move back here to kill you. Good. Because we can move our tanks up with almost impunity now, because now the flamethrowers aren't there. And the Panzerschreck's not there. He kills 1 tank. Now we use these guys to finish off the rest of the Germans. You have mobility. Vehicles are mobile. 14 hexes. Smoke, drive by and laugh at him. And get behind him. Will you survive back there forever? No. If you don't, maybe think about taking 2 tanks on the flank. And then if you have 2 tanks on the flank, 1 guy can cover that direction, this other guy cover this direction. Is this flamethrower getting near you?
Not easily.
Nope. And you could just fire on these guys. And what are you going to fire on these guys? What am I firing on these guys? Let's say this guy's a son of a bitch and he doesn't want to break. And we keep breaking right here. What are we firing on these guys from these guys? Are we firing HE and our machine guns on these units? Certainly not here.
Yeah, you're probably smoking them and...
We're smoking them. How do we smoke them? We take one turn. If this was turn 5, right, of a 7-turn game, we're here on turn 5. Area target type, -1 acquisition. Area target type, defensive fire phase during the same game turn. Target acquisition, smoke him, we need a 7 or 8. Same thing over here. Smoke him, we 7 or 8. Now these guys are shotted in smoke. Assuming like this guy blows up or some shit like that. You know, he's got to smoke. He's got to smoke. Now that Panzerschreck's out of it, now we can just drive a freaking tank right next to this guy. You know, probably don't want to bother with that guy, but just throw infantry against him. You know, but we can move a tank like maybe right here. While keeping this guy smoked, maybe from another vehicle, maybe this guy smokes over here a turn. You know? And that's only 3 vehicles. We're not even counting the other 3 we have. You know, half of them probably going to be destroyed. But we could spin around here if we want, or keep our face over here and move our turret that way. You know, just so we can stop them from routing backwards. And when they break, they die. Do we need to move here? Probably not. But like I say, they're mobile. Don't move your guys up like a line of units. Lines of units don't necessarily get the job done. If they break, they're going to rout away. You want to stop them from routing away, especially in this scenario. If you could kill 2 squads for 1 tank, for every tank you lose, if that tank's position here causes the death of 2 squads in this location, that's a gimme. Because if you go 2 squads for him, 2 squads for him, 2 squads for him, 2 squads for the other 2 tanks. Okay, the Germans lose 12 squads for each of your tank, or for all of your tanks. How many does he have in the OB? I don't even know how many he has in the OB. He probably only has 12 squads in the OB.
Yeah, don't think yeah.
And that's a 2 for 1. If he loses 2 squads for the loss of 1 Sherman, while you're smoking and getting around him, that's a win. Probably even 1, because if you crap 1 out, that could also be a win. You know, obviously we need to smoke these sons of bitches because we don't want them running free. But that's all part of the plan. Smoke, move, smoke, move. You could smoke him from this guy over here that we had. While he was over here out of line of sight, drive right by him to where we want to go. If we don't smoke him and we drive right by him, what's he going to need to hit? You know, a lot. He's going to hit him pretty easily. And guess what? What does he have? What does he have that we don't want him to fire on us with? Heat 9. Heat 9. That's gonna shred right through our tank. He is just as valuable he's just as dangerous an enemy as the Tiger, if not more so, because he has a fast turret traverse. Fast turret traverse. So smoke him. He can't hit you, or very unlikely to hit you. And can he move over here and fire heat at you over here? Sure. Moves over here. Guess what? Next turn, when you're moving infantry, 3 hindrances, button up, +4 to hit. You're non-assault moving, base 8 to hit. It's going to be +3, you don't have 5 to hit. He's not going to hit you. Machine guns, 8 +3. It's not bad, but it's nothing like 8 -2. So, if you can distract the enemy, use your vehicles as support weapons. Don't think that they're going to win the battle for you. They're going to help, but your infantry, let your infantry do their job. Let your tanks, by firing smoke and having their mobility, the grand mobility of the tank, can get around all of his infantry with impunity. You don't want to get close to him because they have Panzerfausts. Get around him, stay at range. That way, if he tries to approach you, you can try to shoot him. You know, sometimes you may have to put your tanks in precarious positions, but that's based on the game situation. So that's about all he has for anti-tank abilities. Panzerfaust, very short range. He has 1 gun. Hopefully he'll lose that early, and go with that. So that's kind of what you're looking at in this scenario. Obviously, there's multiple avenues of approach. You could smoke the living daylights out of this side over here. You know, you could smoke everything over here. You know, you could just smoke down this lane and move your units up and down through that's not a problem. You smoke early here, you take all these buildings, then you do the same thing. You smoke that. I mean, all your guys can literally come from this side over here if you want to. Just have your tanks smoke ahead of you, because if these guys are going to show up, what are you going to do? You're going to smoke them. They're not going to hit you. You just fire smoke from your guns. And if you run out of smoke, you drive up, you drop smoke dispensers. Just to give you vehicles cover. Infantry's going to be moving slower in there. It's 2 moving factors, obviously, right? But, I mean, that's cover. He's not going to have an effect on you. You just jump in close combat. And I think you probably have the numbers. If you lose 1-to-1 in close combat, you probably have the numbers as the Russians to just win by attrition at that point. So...
yeah, you've got Russians have 14 squads, Germans have 12.
Yeah, so it's close. It's close. So, and they have 838s. So then the 838s are nothing to scoff at. They shred. That's a 2-to-1 and get your 447s. So that's nothing that we want to break those. We want to break and cause those guys to lose failure to rout on the 838s. We can deal with the other guys. The 838s are badass with a 5 smoke making capability. They're getting to where they want to go. That's all there is to it. And so, and then he's got smoke also, so he can do a little mini counterattack if he needs to. So be wary of these 838s, even in this location, because he's got cover here, just like you have cover coming up here. You move your 628s that way, his 838s are coming this way, or he's got cover from the hills, and they're bad news. Just like your 628s with the LMGs, 838s by themselves, that's a lot of firepower. That's a lot of firepower. So chew on that for a little bit. Maybe crack this one out, do a quick solo game like that, and think of just kind of play both sides real quick. Just kind of throw some plans that you have out there. Say, let me see where could I smoke on turn 1? Where would the Germans likely move? And just push counters around, just to go through a very semblance, just sort of like get a plan down. Will it be easier to go over here, or if I come over here on the hills, what's the big disadvantage? You know, can the Germans get up there and just really screw with me? I don't know, just you can hash those plans out actually really quickly if you're just throwing some counters around, pushing around just like we have here, in terms of trying to get the combined arms going. But again, always read your OB, always read your victory conditions right in the beginning, and then look at your OB, and then look at it again to see exactly how you get these victory points under your control. Big difference, and that's how you become a little bit more successful. And get these guys doing what they need to do. Again, we don't need the tanks to survive, but we don't want all of our tanks blown up in the back, because we're not fighting the Tiger. We can't fight the Tiger. And if we're trying to surround the Tiger, we're going to lose 1 or 2 tanks. Do you want to do that early? Probably not. Late, you can do it. Early, no. You need the smoke. The smoke is far more valuable than the destruction of either of the FEs. The smoke is far more valuable because you can neutralize them. Essentially, they're out of the battle, for that matter. And then guess what? If you smoke them, right? Let's say you do want to take them on. Let's say I do want to kill the son of a bitch. And I've got 2 tanks over here. I got this guy here. And then we'll just end it right after that. I need another American. Let's say we got 2 tanks out of line of sight over here. You know, this is legit. This is a legit position. Smoke this guy. And then drive these guys right point blank on him. He's still smoked. Even if you miss and he misses, his prep fire phase comes, it's likely that he's going to miss, but you're not going to miss him. You know, you're going to have 1, 2, 3 shots on him at that point, even in the smoke. Smoke's going to make it hard to give him defense, but if you need this guy gone, smoke and then surround him. Same thing with the Tiger. If that were Tiger, the same thing applies. You could smoke him first, you know. If you, I don't know why it should not pick them both up because I did not highlight them. That's a setting that's in your preferences. It should not pick them up, but it does. But yeah, always think of smoking first. Will smoking be more effective? Right? If you fire smoke here and let's say he still does destroy you, who cares? Now your infantry are free from harm from this unit for all intents and purposes. So from this unit, when you smoke him, let's say he does destroy you from a heat shot that he can roll a 3 to hit. He blows you up. He still has to move to be effective. He needs to get the hell out of that hex, which means everything he's going to have is going to be harder to hit or half firepower. So, you know, smoke makes him move. That makes him move out of the area. And if he's moving, he's not doing anything else. Hopefully he's not moving behind you. You know, screwing your op house up. But yeah. But a lot of armor usage and that sort of situation. Now there are times where you might want to take your armor. If you've got a number of tigers, you're probably just gonna be hunting his tanks down. Blow them up before he can drop smoke. Right? Take the tank over here, tank over here, and move them together. Blow tanks up before they can smoke. Because that's how they're gonna win. That's how they're gonna win more easily. If they don't have smoke, they can still win possibly, but you need to eliminate their smoke making capabilities, of which he has a lot. We know that. So that's all I have, gentlemen. Sorry about the duration of the thing. I think we had some good discussions tonight.
Yeah.
If you guys have any questions on this, again, we're gonna rehash this. We're gonna re-enter the doorway here if you guys want to. I'm sure a lot of other questions will come up. Maybe you guys will be playing a couple scenarios during the week, and a couple weird ass things came up. And bring what you got. Bring any questions, what you got. Bring any situations, what you got. Because this takes more than 5 or 6 times going through to kind of start to understand it for the people that haven't played a lot of armor. I'm not a great armor person myself. I gotta admit, I freely admit that. I don't use armor a lot. I have a tendency to avoid it because I think it's kind of gamey, kind of dicey. But in the situations I do use armor, I use them as support weapons. When my support weapons malfunction, do I give a shit? I don't care. It's done. I fired it. It's done. Whatever. If I move a tank up, as long as I'm using it and serving it for a purpose, getting blown up where it needs to be blown up, served its purpose. Now it serves a second purpose. Serves as terrain. It's a support weapon. Infantry win the battles. As long as you focus on your infantry winning the battles and using your armor as, quote, support weapons, then in my opinion, I think you have a decent chance. Because I know a lot of guys, if they lose that tank early, this big boy on the hill, if he leaves early, they're going to quit the game. Not quit. I concede. A lot of guys will do that. Not a lot, but I know some guys that will do that. They'll just concede the game when they lose their tiger. Turn 3 or 4. They just give up. Well, 838s. This 838 and the flamethrower squads, it's a squad leader game, not a tank leader game. You're going to lose that tank sometimes. You just got to deal with it. At that point, again, if that was part of your plan, what do you do then, gentlemen? If part of your plan takes a shit, what do? Change your plan.
Yeah, come up with it. Come up with a new one.
You got to change your plan. You got to have another plan. At that point, you might need a counterattack. You need to use this smoke generating armor assault engineer to take that building or take this building. Move some of your guys around. Use your smoke. Get across that road, just like he got across the road. You've got smoke.
Yeah.
Do the same thing to him. Take that 838, shove that some bitch right in that hex. 1-to-1. Or 2-to-1 versus 1. You vaporize one guy. Next turn, what's he gonna do? He's not gonna roll shit. You vaporize him. Now you've got an LMG and an 838. That's only a 20 chart adjacent. Only a 20. And he can smoke you. Mm-hmm. So you can counterattack in this one. It might be hard. And again, your tank's got smoke. Smoke 9. The best in the game. The best in the game. Smoke 9. This thing's dropping smoke wherever it wants to. 1 in 6 chance it's going to lose the smoke. Well, if he rolls a 9, it's a little higher. 1 in 6 chance he won't have a smoke. So 5 in 6 he's dropping smoke. Just like your assault engineer. 5 in 6 chance. They can drop a shitload of smoke. So, anyway, thank you so much, gentlemen, for showing up. Having a great discussion. Really
Great
enjoyed
as
it.
always, too. Thank you.
It was good. All right, well, there you have it. Wraps up another Tactical Tuesday. Again, that was a lengthy session. It just kind of, we went with the topics, we went with the discussion. I think the discussion was decent. That's up to you to decide. If you liked it, click a like, leave some comments. If you didn't, thumb it down, leave some comments. But that's kind of how I approach a situation in this particular game. Your approach could be different. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's your approach. So your approach is what you need to think of what you like to do. Maybe you like to shove your tanks forward and blow everything up. That's fine. That's your game. But I play a slightly different game, and we're here to learn off each other. All right? So join us next time on Tactical Tuesday.